Hey, how's it going? Welcome to tonight's call. This is Eric McKinley. I'm the Director of Program Development of National Business Builders. And tonight, guys, tonight is our first night of our series of talking finances with our youth. Okay. Didn't do a lot of advertising on it, said it was going to come. We talked about it back in, I want to say back in April when I first got started, and wanted to be true to my word. So here it is. Tonight's the first night. We're going to be talking about finances and explaining it to our youth. This call is going to be a call that takes place every Wednesday. So every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be talking about finances as it pertains to our youth and how to get our youth actually educated and get them prepared. Thought it'd be a great idea to do this hitch over the summer, especially because they had a long summer. They had a long year last year with the pandemic. A lot of the kids didn't get a chance to graduate as far as walking across the stage. I know my son didn't last year, and this year a lot of schools were able to do it, so they were barely making it. So I wanted to be able to give something back to the youth community and give them something to think about. So as you jump on, do me a favor, drop your city and your state, like it, share it, and tag somebody. That's right, like it, share it, and tag somebody, because if you have been watching, if you have been paying attention, every Wednesday and Friday, what we've been doing is we've been hosting financial education talks, business education talks with the public to educate them and share with them on different strategies, different things that they can do to improve themselves, personal finances, to actually get themselves on another track, another arena, another point. So that's what we're doing tonight. So, hey, thanks for jumping on, Miss Bertha, out of the DMV area. Man, me and Dorothy had a ball with you guys last weekend.
We did too.
We had a ball with y'all last weekend, and congratulations on y'all's new venue. Y'all, Miss Bertha Winston, she's an entrepreneur, not just a business owner. She's an entrepreneur, and she, along with her family, owns several businesses. And some of her friends. She's also in business with some family friends as well. But these ladies are powerful, man. They did a phenomenal job with the grand opening that they had in Suitland, Maryland this past weekend. So shout out to you and your business partners, Miss Bertha. Proud of y'all. Y'all doing everything that we say we supposed to be doing. Y'all doing everything that y'all, that we talk about as far as business is concerned. And I'm just super excited for you and what's to come. I got to meet you this year. This is the first time we actually saw each other this year. Got a chance to.
I know. That was exciting.
Yep. My wife and I got a chance to see Mr. Winston, meet him for the first time in person. Meet your sister. Yeah. Several of your relatives and friends.
Yes.
Excuse me. So that was amazing. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. If you have an opportunity to go out and support someone who you consider to be a friend, please take that opportunity under advisement and support them. Go to their location with the open heart, man, and just be the best bit of support that you can be for that person. So as we got people popping on, and I'm going to jump on another platform really quick because I want to see who this is. I think they're on another page. Got Apostle Adolph Moore jumped on. Thank you, man, for jumping on. I appreciate it. We got Lisa Nixon jumped on out of Baton Rouge. Apostle Moore out of Littleton, North Carolina. So I want y'all to do something for me. I want y'all to like it, share it, and tag somebody. And I'm about to do the same thing. And like I said, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday. So if you know a teen, and And I'll just go as far as saying any children that's out there between from the ages of 12 to 18, okay, from 12 to 18. And I'm gonna tell you, some of these young adults, some of these are they Xers? Millennials. Yeah, the millennials. Some of these millennials can actually benefit from this information as well. But if you know someone who is that age, age 12 um to 18 or a little bit older, you're going to want to see what we're talking about, because this information that I'm going to be sharing with you, or we're going to be sharing with you over the next couple of months over the summer, every Wednesday, it's gonna break some things down to children as and to the parents as how we look at money, and how we actually educate and train our kids about money. Um, First off, we gotta be honest with ourselves. We can't train our kids about what we don't understand and know ourselves. We can't do that. We got Miss Quartina Trafford out of Huntsville, Alabama, just jumped on. Miss Helen Kemp out of Maryland, no, out of Washington. I'm sorry, just jumped on. Thank you. I met Miss Helen Kemp too for the first time. That was amazing as well. Um, but I want y'all to remember something. We can't teach our children what we don't know and what we don't understand. And with that being said, that means we have to be humble enough. We have to be humble enough to be able to find the right person to pour into our lives and also to our children's lives, so they can get the information, so they can get fed the information that they actually need. There's no need to be embarrassed um about what we can't teach our kids. The embarrassment comes when we're too prideful, to admit that we don't know. And unfortunately, some of us would rather our kids be ignorant, because we want to be the ones to teach them. I'm gonna say that again slowly, so everyone who missed it can hear it. Some of us are so prideful that we would much rather our kids be ignorant, because we're not the ones that teaching them and training them. So if it's something that you know that your kids need to know, and you're not spun up on it, you're not privy to the information, you don't know what's going on, plug into some of these groups out here. Listen to them yourselves first, but plug into them and make sure they're saying the things that make sense. And then definitely plug your children into them and use that information. Excuse me. If you want to be the one to share it, then you share it. But if you can't train and educate your children on certain subjects, then you need to make sure you find the resources that are able to do so. We got Miss Lillis Lumpkins and Miss Valerie Norfolk, both out of St. Louis, Missouri. So thank y'all for jumping on. I appreciate it. And like I said, we were talking about this back in April, about how we wanted to bring the kids in, because we knew they were getting out of school for the summertime. And this is just a preamble to what I'm going to be doing. I want to do something a little bit more, and I'm going to talk to a couple of more people and see what we can come up with. But this is just basically an introduction. And so I don't want to speak over anybody's head. So if you got a child between the age of 12 and 18, then, and they can't see this live, it doesn't matter. Go back and let them see it again. Okay, so I'm going to keep this one short, probably till about 8:30, maybe 8:35. But I'm going to keep it short because I don't want to talk too much, because I know people, we lose focus after a while. But the whole purpose for our conversation, like I said, is to teach, share, mentor, educate, financial education. Why financial education, you ask? Well, because it's something that's much needed in not just the African American community, but in the young community. See, if these children are the ones that we're handing the baton to pass off, just as Miss Bertha and my mom and dad handed off to my generation, then we need to prepare them. And how can we then prepare them if we don't know what we're preparing them for? How can we do that? See, we don't want to do them some type of disservice, a disjustice, because we are ignorant ourselves. Okay. I want you to understand that it's imperative that our children are not, listen, our children are not doing the same things that we did to try to get different results. I'm going to say that again. It's important that we understand that our children, if we want our children to be better than us, it's important that we learn better so we can teach them to do better. They're not going to get better results from doing what we did if they don't have the better tools. Proverbs 22:6, it says, train a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it.
Yeah.
Well, as one of my business associates will say, how we gonna know what we doing? We won't know what we doing. I got one more place I want to share this, Miss Bertha, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get to this because I want to share it on my timeline. You know, I don't have a lot of friends on my timeline. I'm that person now that I run people off. You know, I think it's more of it's either my tone or what comes out of the mouth. But I think it's more of the tone and the truth.
And the
But
truth.
anyway, I'm gonna share this to my timeline so so I can tag a few people. And I'm gonna tag you in it too, Miss Bertha.
Okay.
I hadn't done this in a while. Shout out to Pastor Gregory Napier. He's out there on the road still traveling, man. Safe travels to you.
Yeah.
Godspeed. I want you to be safe. I want you to enjoy yourself and enjoy your time, but definitely make it back home safely to your family.
Yeah.
And then to everyone out there who's listening, Miss Quartina, Miss Lillis, Miss Valerie, Miss Helen, Apostle Moore, please make sure you all are being mindful of what's going on, because this is a lot of information that we're going to be sharing in the upcoming months. And I want everybody to understand the importance of why, for me, why it's so important to me. For me, it's personal. I know without this information, we cannot build a community.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this again. Without this information, we cannot build a community. And I'm not gonna go all into Black history. I'm not gonna do that, but I am gonna mention some things. Okay. We just celebrated Juneteenth. And for those of you who don't know what Juneteenth is, June 19th, 1865 was the day that the last enslaved person in Galveston, Texas, found out that slavery had been abolished. However, I want you to understand something. If we don't train our kids to understand how finances work, then we will have done what America and some parts of America and some parts of the world think that we have done as far as slavery. We traded slavery for prisons. And I say that because we have a large amount of Black people in prisons, and it's due to the lack of education about how life works.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've been fed was school. Okay, and I'm going to run on right into this. Now, I'm not against traditional education, but I am against traditional ignorance. What we were taught back in the Revolutionary Age, and then what came after the Revolutionary Age, the Industrial Age, right? Basically, what's happening is this: we were taught that we had to go to school, that children had to go to school. Okay, children had to go to school at that point in time for a certain amount of time. You probably kind of remember that, Miss Bertha.
Yeah.
They had to go to school for a certain amount of time at a certain grade, a certain age. At some age, they could have opted out of school.
Yeah.
But I want y'all to understand something, because this is not a conspiracy theory. School came about because of factory workers were actually injuring themselves in the factory because they couldn't read. See, at the time, the factories were holding up the economy. And the factory jobs, whether it was making things in World War II era for the war, whether it was factories, car factories, whatever it was, factories were hot and popping. Well, that was a good job. That was a good paying job.
Mm-hmm.
And people were actually bowing out because at the time they couldn't read.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't read the instructions on how to work the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So they were injuring themselves. So they said, we're going to fix this. We're going to make school a mandatory thing. And guess what they made school? Mandatory for a certain age until people pretty much were old enough to go to school and then pop out and, start into the workforce. Well, what came along with that was a time frame they had to go to school. It was 9 to 5. Ironic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you see where I'm going. It was a 9 to 5. And people were going to school from 9 to 5. Now, I'm going to share something else with you. In school, in any other organized organization, there has to be some type of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
They would go from class, from one teacher, the bell ring, to another teacher, the bell ring, to another teacher, the bell ring. They had outside time, which was some type of physical exercise, but it was all organized. When I told y'all before that slavery was traded from slavery, was traded for prisons, it's the same thing in the prison yard. So people were either going 9 to 5 or they were ending up in jail.
Mm.
But we were being taught discipline at an early age. This ain't no conspiracy. I want y'all to think about this. Now, going forward, we taught our kids, because my parents taught me, hey, listen, if you want to do good in this world, you got to get a degree. You got to go to school and you got to get that degree, because if you don't get that degree, you won't get that good job. And if you don't get that good job, you won't be able to take care of your family. Basically, our family wanted us out of the house and independent.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I believe they wanted more for us than they had. But they were sold on an idea, because as far as they knew, that idea was working, because it was going to work until it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And as I moved forward to 1972, when I was born, and we were going away from the industrial and sliding into the internet age, right? The technology age.
Mm-hmm.
Now, school wasn't as important.
Mm.
It started to dwindle away because we had all these millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires that were making things.
Yeah.
See, we come from a creative people. We're making things, and we've always been creators because we were created by our creator to create.
Mm-hmm.
And now we were looking at our creations and we were saying, I can build something, I can patent this, I can sell that, I can own something. And now I don't have to finish school. Even as 1990, when I graduated from high school and I started college, I ended up going to the military. Many of my associates at the time, many of the students at the time, they went to college. I know a lot of people that graduated college, but I also know a lot of people that still in student loan debt.
Mm-hmm.
After 20 plus years.
Mm.
After 20 plus years. And I'm kind of jumping around, but I want you to understand where I'm going, because we have to, in order for our children and our grandchildren, because me and Dorothy have 3 now. In order for our grandchildren, Miss Bertha, I think you said you had 6 grandchildren. How many great grandchildren?
2 great grands.
2 great grands. So we have to foster a situation, an environment for our seedlings, our generations, that they have different choices and different options.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never just been about traditional education, but it has always been about education.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been just about traditional education. It's always been about education. So there's different types of education, both traditional and non-traditional. Okay. Traditional, of course, you're sitting in a class, you're going to college, you're sitting in the class, so on and so forth. But they kind of define non-traditional education as maybe taking online classes. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about self and personal development courses. I'm talking about the course that you took, Miss Bertha, to enhance your knowledge on your business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about things that ain't taught in a regular school.
Right.
I'm talking about things that's not talked about behind brick walls,
mm-hmm.
behind iron doors. I'm talking about things that people don't generally share in public or private education.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about things that children need to know to be successful. In order for us to be able to educate our children and grandchildren on this, we have to have a different way of thinking ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
for all of you parents and grandparents that are out there listening, hopefully these series that we're going to be talking about every Wednesday is going to touch you enough to just think a little differently about what we've been sharing. Now, I'm not talking negatively or down about traditional education, not at all. I'm just saying there's so much more out there. It's so much more out there. It's so much more because school is not for everybody.
That's right.
Everybody is not for that type of school. But I do believe everybody has the ability to create, and everybody deserves to be whatever they want to be. And if success looks like them accomplishing something other than a degree, then I believe that they should have the ability to do so. Hey, thanks, Vanessa, for jumping on. I appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see if I can pull this thing up. Hopefully I gave you enough background, and kind of wasted some time too, Ms. Bertha. I want to get this thing out so
That's good.
so they can kind of see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a real basic slide, okay?
Mm-hmm.
A real basic slide for everyone who's out there watching. You'll be able to see this again. Like I said, if you're not following myself, Ms. Bertha, or any of the people that I tagged on my timeline, or if you're not following our National Business Builders business page, which you definitely can. You can follow it, like, and share it. Then you need to do so, because we talk about stuff like this all the time. Preparing our youth for financial success. Now, this is going to be very basic, and we're going to get into some things later on. Think before you act. Everything that we do, Ms. Bertha, is about a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. It does not matter. Yep. Everything that we do, it has to deal with how we actually perceive things. Personal finance is largely about making the best financial decisions. Mm-hmm. Now, making great decisions involves knowing your options. I'm gonna stop right there. I know it's a pause, but not a period. It's a yield. But most of us are making decisions based off of the information that we have, not off of everything that's out there. And that's a huge issue, because we are making decisions based off the things that we know and not the things that we don't know. We end up making bad decisions, mm-hmm. or not so good decisions. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that we're evaluating those options based on what's important to you. So how do you know what's important to you if you don't know what's out there? Mm-hmm. And then you want to make sure you consider trade-offs. You want to consider trade-offs. What am I getting and what am I giving up? Okay. Weighing the pain and the gain, or the gain and the pain. And also understanding that all decisions involve an opportunity cost, y'all. What is it going to cost me if I don't accept or take or pursue this opportunity? I'm not talking about just the monetary portion. I'm talking about long-term, Ms. Burke. Mm-hmm. If I decide to go to the left with the crowd instead of going to the right by myself, mm-hmm. what is it going to cost me? What am I losing? What am I giving up? Because I've listened to what my parents said, and this is not a hit on you parents. I'm a parent as well. I've told my kids some things that I wish I can go back and have a do-over.
Tell the truth.
But, they're at the age right now that they're not really hearing us. Mm-hmm. But our children, by the time they're age 5, they've already made they already have their personality.
Yeah.
And it's still up to us to feed them good food. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, we have to be around good food. We have to plant good seeds, and we have to be able to harvest good food. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now, here's some factors of success. Now I'm gonna let this marinate with y'all for a while. Now, I do not believe in luck, but that don't mean the world don't. Okay. I'm just saying this. I don't believe in luck, but let's just say your child had a start. Let's say that they're 12 years young and they had an opportunity to pick out of a bag. They had an opportunity to pick out of a bag, and out of that bag had a bag full of beads, like little beads, beads, beads. And the person who picked the bag with the biggest beads was the person that was going to have the best success. That's kind of, I just want to kind of explain the look at what the luck of society thinks. Because there's no such thing as luck when it comes to success. Okay. But then now let's look at effort. Natural ability. Natural ability is very, very scary, y'all. You got to be careful for the people out there who have just natural ability. Why do I say that? Because oftentimes people with natural ability get naturally lazy. Yeah. See, a person who is motivated and don't have no ability is going to work harder than a person that's got natural ability. I want y'all to think about that, because they know they got to work harder. But these are some factors of success, okay? So now, continuing factors of success. What is the general relationship between traditional education, meaning college, and non-traditional education, meaning developmental courses, unemployment, and income? What's the general relationship between those? Because a lot of people look at it and say, you know what? Hey, if I don't go to college, there's no way that I can get a good job. Well, who says I want a good job? I might want to start a good business.
Ooh, that's great.
You know, I may have a natural talent to where I may just want to go out and display my talent. I may want to hire. I might want to create jobs. You know, I don't know. But what's the correlation? Because a lot of people, and definitely a lot of educators, are going to say that, you know, college is very important. My son just jumped on. Shout out to Xavier. Thanks for jumping on, man. A lot of educators are going to say, hey, well, college is important. Well, why is college important? Well, it's important because of the experiences that they're going to get in college. So you saying kids are going to college for experiences? You mean to tell me we shelling out 60 stacks a semester for experiences? I mean, talk to me, y'all. Just here's the thing. We got to stop saying what everybody else is saying and start thinking like nobody else is thinking. Yes, college can be important, and I believe that there is a place for college. There's certain degrees that have to be or should be had or acquired to be a professional out in the world. Now, of course, America, society has labeled certain degrees to deem necessary. You know, they say you got to have a degree to be a doctor. You have to have a degree to practice law. You have to have a degree any in the medical field or law field, or, you know, mostly in those areas. Okay. To be a teacher, you gotta have. Now I want to go back. Many moons ago, before I was even a twinkle in my mom and daddy's eye, you didn't need a degree to do none of that stuff.
Nope.
An apothecary was a chemist, a pharmacist. They didn't have any licenses. Pastors didn't have licenses, and they married people all the time.
And some of them studied. Some of them was like doctors.
Someone were like, exactly. They definitely were. They were dual headed. Doctors practiced without. I'm talking about a long time ago. I'm not talking about Little House on the Prairie time frame. I'm talking about, you know, in the BC area, right? We got to think practical, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of these things that we're told that we have to do, and I'm not here to argue the point, but a lot of these things that we're told that we have to do has come about because of money.
Yeah.
Because of money. All right. There's a lot of very intelligent people. You have children in your household right now that are very intelligent that will not see a degree, but they smarter than the average person out there.
That's right.
And they can outthink, outwork, and outsmart anybody out there. But because they may not be able to retain sitting down, taking a test, that doesn't make them dumb. That makes them not being able to take a test.
Hey.
That's all it does. We got to start to position our children to put them in a better situation to be able to be successful, and stop telling them what success looks like and ask them what they want to do. Just my thoughts. Okay. Non-traditional education. By definition, like I said, they talked about college still, but attending college in the form of online school. That ain't what I'm talking about when I talk about non-traditional education. So y'all know where I'm coming from. I'm talking about self-development courses. I'm talking about going to seminars. I'm talking about going to different things out here that's going to give you life skills.
Yeah.
This is the reason why life coaches were created, which now you need some type of certificate or something for that as well. But this is the reason why life coaches were created, because people don't have a handle on their lives. And they don't have a handle on their lives because we put all of our emphasis on traditional education, where we're thinking that all of our children are supposed to learn everything that they have to learn in a traditional setting, but that's not true. Guys, I know we're going to catch up to the financial education part, all right? This is all foundational groundwork. Just bear with me. We're going to get some of this next week and next month and all that good stuff. But I want you to understand why it is several of us are struggling. It's because of the things that we force our kids to wear, to put on, to eat, to take on, the pressure that we put them under. Worrying about how our friends are going to look at our children because they didn't stand up or live up to the level that they thought they should. Come on now. Let's go back to the financial education part, because in order for us to have productive adults as our seeds grow up and be responsible and financially responsible and be financially free and able to not have to worry, or us not have to worry about them and them not have to fall back on us, we have to expose them to things outside of 1 + 1 is 2. We have to expose them to things other than American history. You don't need that in life. These kids don't know what a checkbook is.
Yep.
And I get it. You know, parents are gonna, I hear it now. Some parents, well, they don't teach that in my kid's school. They teach that in my kid's school. No, what are you teaching at home?
Yeah, that's it. That's where it starts.
Understanding that a debit card is nothing more than a piece of plastic, and it's only going to matter how much money you got in that account. A debit card is a plastic bank, check card. It's a plastic checking account. You know, we have to understand that a credit is not a open door to just run it up. You have to pay that back.
That's right.
You know, we have to understand that student loans is something that we should not be really investing our money in if we can't afford to pay it back within the first, I don't know, I would go as far as saying the first 10 years of getting a loan. So if that child gets that loan at 18 and they can't pay it off by 28, then that's not a good investment. That's just my opinion. Because if they don't pay it off by 28, I'm gonna tell you by 48, they still gonna have that loan. I'm telling you what somebody told me. I'm telling you what I know. We have to stop thinking that in order to get a better job, we have to go back to school to get a better degree. We have to stop thinking about it's just about more money instead of understanding that we need to keep more of our money. I'm going to get back on this subject here in a minute because we about to wrap this up, okay? About to wrap this up. Going back into where we were. How does this play a part in unemployment income? If I have a good college degree, am I going to have a good job? Am I guaranteed a good job? Not necessarily. Got Von Neesmith. Von Neesmith, that's my son's friend. He jumped on out of King Street, South Carolina. But yeah, me having a degree doesn't guarantee that I'm gonna have a good job, and it definitely doesn't guarantee that I'm gonna actually make a lot of money. Okay, so how does this relationship and how does basic wealth being built, how does it relate to the factors of success? That what I talked about before, the being lucky, being lucky,
effort.
Putting in effort, natural ability, and motivation. How does that work? And then we got to ask our kids and find out from our children and the parents, What might college be worth, or would college be a worthwhile investment? Excuse me. Why might college be a worthwhile investment even after accounting for the cost? See, I want y'all to count the cost.
Mm-hmm.
See, the cost ain't just the money. The cost is the time, y'all.
Yeah.
See, I got two currencies on me right now, Ms. Bertha.
Mm-hmm.
My time and my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
My intellectual property is my currency. And my time, as long as I got time, I can make more money.
Mm-hmm.
I can create more intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in college learning little to nothing or next to nothing, then I'm wasting time because I got a young mind that's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So in college, unless I'm going to get a degree that I need to work in a guaranteed field, and the word guaranteed is an oxymoron when it deals with, that type of area, you can't guarantee that. So I had to ask myself, is what I'm doing the path that I want to take? That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for everybody out here. So feel free to drop your comments as we bring this thing to a close. Making choices and identifying the cost, okay? The decision-making process. Some of you youths have seen this before, and I just took this out of offline.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the parents have seen it before as well. If you've been to any type of leadership class, you've seen some of the similar things. The decision-making process. Identify the decision. You realize that you need to make a decision. You got to identify the decision. You got to gather relevant information. All information is relevant. The problem is we don't have enough information to make an informed decision. That's the problem. We don't have enough information to make a satisfactory decision. Identifying the alternatives. Well, if we don't have enough information to make an informed decision, then we're not able to identify the alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Weighing the evidence. Once again, if we don't have enough information, we can't really truly weigh. Everything else is a false negative, a false positive, excuse me. Choose among the alternatives. See, everything from gathering the relevant information. Once we get to number 2, Ms. Bertha, if we ain't got all the information, everything else will fall. Because see, when we get ready to take action, we taking false action.
Yeah. Yeah.
We taking fake action. And now check this out. We trying to review some decisions and some consequences out of a decision that we made off of information that we didn't even have. That's what I know. Okay. That's what I know. So what I want y'all to understand is, as we go forth talking about this, I want you to understand that we're going to put some real live, real world issues and situations in front of you and your children. And we're going to talk about personal finances. We're going to talk about what that 12 to 18-year-old should be talking about knowing, or let's say 12 to 25-year-old should be knowing. Okay. 12 to 25-year-olds should be knowing. We're going to talk about some things that they should understand, what they're going to do when they get their first job. When they get their first job, they need to understand that their first real job is going to take out some real taxes.
Yeah.
They need to understand that if they're going to be on their own, their first real job that they have to pay real expenses from is going to require them to have a first real budget. They're not going to be able to wear necessarily name brand clothes. They're not going to be able to necessarily go out and do the things that their friends are doing if they are actually trying to be responsible. Being an adult ain't fun, I'm telling you. But it's going to happen.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to happen, parents, with or without your help. So hopefully with your help, your children are going to be very successful and they're going to understand how things work. And in the financial arena of life, it's not just about who has the biggest paycheck. It's about who understands how money works, who understands how the tax system works, who understands how to keep more of the money, who understands about investments and growing, for the future. There's a lot of things that we're going to discuss and cover. But I wanted to lay down this foundational groundwork in hopes that it will give you some type of comfort and desire to want to come back next Wednesday. Okay. Because we're talking about some real issues, some real concerns. Kids are out for the summer. You might be going on vacation. They may be out hanging out with their friends. I know that they're lifting a lot of things. They're opening up a lot of things, but this is open too, and this is free. So at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, if y'all not doing anything, and if you can't catch it then you can, Eastern Standard Time, of course. And if you can't catch it, then you can also obviously go back and look at the replay. But this is what we're talking about. So I know you're not feeling too well, Miss Bertha. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the call, but I'm gonna give you just a short opportunity in case you want to, add something to the audience, or if your seedlings are listening, to let them know what we're doing, what we're about,
Yeah, I think it's very important, to sit down with your kids and show them, what they need to be doing, because they're going to be an adult one day and they're going to have a family one day. And if they go in it blind, then the blind gonna lead the
blind.
blind gonna fall in the ditch.
Oh man.
So if you start now, when I look back, in school, they coming out of high school, they don't even know what a checkbook is. They don't even know how to fill out a resume. I don't even know what a resume is.
Application, yeah.
These are things that we need to teach our children so they won't be in the dark, when they go, how you supposed to approach, how you supposed to dress, even to go for a job interview. They don't even know that, what color should you wear?
Yeah.
So we have to educate our children so that they can be successful, in life. I mean, I thank God that all of my kids, they have nice jobs, and everything. But I can remember when my son was he didn't know anything about a checkbook. We showed him, like you say, they don't know they're going to be taxed when they get their first job. What's this? They want their whole check.
They want their money. Yeah, they know they went to work, and that's their grief.
Why is my check short?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they are educated on this, they'll know what to expect, And we as parents, we have a responsibility, to teach our children these things, especially when show them how to balance a checkbook, So when they get their family, they could take the leadership. Most men, even in marriage, they don't even do the finance. The woman always do.
Yep, I know my wife does.
Yeah, most time, but it'd be good if the man would do it, because that's a responsibility that the woman has to take on.
Yeah.
I mean, even with me, I do the bills. My husband don't do it. Maybe if his father had taught him how to be that leader, he would feel comfortable doing it. But most men don't feel comfortable doing it, so they let the wife do it.
I know my wife ready to tap out. I think our transition was when I started deploying so much.
Mm-hmm.
I started deploying so much, it had to be in her hands.
Okay.
That was the transition.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. And I want to tap into what you said. And thank you for that. I want to tap into what you said. I don't want parents who see this or hear this to get offended when we say you should be the one teaching them. I know you're working. I know you're busy providing a living for your family. I realize that. And even though we still live in a turnkey society, I want you to understand that we don't have the village anymore. That's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to create that village. So when your child goes to your next door neighbor house, then they won't get the same thing that you would give your child. They would give the same thing that you give your child. When your child is learning something, it's nothing greater than to be able to understand at least what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Fathers, teach your sons how to tie a tie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stop about slip-ons.
Yeah.
Teach them how to wear, lace up shoes with the suit.
Yeah.
And loafers with slacks. It's certain things that we have to do, like Ms. Bertha said, learning how to dress for an interview, learning how to sit and receive the questions and respond to the questions and look at another person in the eye for an interview. These are the things that we have to get back down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Because if not, you got, I was listening to I'm going to close this. I was listening to a kid out of Atlanta, young man out of Atlanta, and his slang was so deep. Not his accent, his slang. Y'all know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's mumbling. You not really understand what this kid was saying. And I was telling Dorothy, I said, this is embarrassing. No enunciation, no articulation. And I drag and draw sometimes and I have to catch myself. However, I know when I'm talking to someone, they have to be able to understand what I'm saying. We got to stop allowing our kids to slide through life and start holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Now, before somebody in uniform does. So that goes along with the financial education, because if we're responsible financially, that means that we're making better decisions all the way around, or at least it should be.
Yeah.
If we understand the decision-making process along with all of the information that we have access to, now we can make informed decisions.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to meet back with us on Wednesday. Definitely on Friday. We'll be back on Friday talking about business and finances on Friday, a couple of days from now at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But every Wednesday now, guys, be on the lookout for us talking about kids, about the youth, ages 12 to 25, okay? And I know it's going to be some 25-year-olds going to say, I don't need you to tell me anything. You a lie. You a lie, and the truth ain't in you. You need some of this. So if you think you know, you about to find out what you really don't know.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to treat you with kids gloves when you need to have kids gloves treatment, but we're going to also treat you like the young adult that you are, because you're crossed over. You've made it on the other side. Now you just got to act the part.
Yeah.
Act the part. So thank you, Ms. Bertha, for joining us out of the DMV area. This is Eric McKinley coming out of Columbia, South Carolina. Hey, guys, listen, like I always say, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. Once again, like it, share it, tag somebody, and we'll definitely see y'all at the top.
Too many people struggling at the bottom. Hey, let's go. Let's go.
All right. We'll see you on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks again, Ms. Bertha. You take care.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you too. Be blessed.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.